Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of To The Max Outdoors. I'm Matt, and I was actually sitting here today. It's a really nice March day. Cleaned up a little bit outside, whatnot, but I think Max and I are going to try to use this crossbow this coming turkey season, and I build all of our own compound bow arrows. I like a crest on my arrows, and I like to put my own fletchings on, and no real rhyme or reason behind it. I don't get crazy with grains and measuring weights and all stuff like that. I just really like to enjoy to do the crest myself and to put the veins on everything myself. So as I was sitting here building some crossbow bolts, I thought, you know what, I'd really like to have a crest on my bolts. I shoot them on my compound bow. Why would I not have them on there? So I did a little bit of research on YouTube, found some stuff about it. Not a whole bunch, so I thought, well, you know what, before I build all my crossbow bolts, why don't I do a video here of how I crest and fletch my own crossbow bolts, and we'll take it out. We'll take them outside and shoot the crossbow. We'll shoot a standard 4-inch crossbow vane, a stiff crossbow vane versus a 8-inch, 8 or 10-inch. That's 8-inch, 8-inch crested 2-inch blazer vane crossbow bolt. And I'll give my opinion on that. I would like to shoot a crested bolt, and I'd like to shoot 2-inch blazers simply because I keep stock of them, and they're quick and easy to repair. I'll probably say it multiple times throughout this video, but I like a crest. I can see that 8 or 10-inch white crest. You know, whether I'm in a tree stand, you know, I can see my arrow on the ground. I can get a decent feel for the blood once I find my arrow. You know, bubbly blood, dark blood, light blood. I can define the color of hair in it. You know, if you pull a shot, maybe say right first thing in the morning or late in the evening. I just personally like them. I'm not a competition shooter. I shoot minute of deer. People talk about stacking arrows on top of each other. Listen, at 30, 40 yards, if I can get them in that 4 to 6 inch ring, I'm happy with it because I'm coming home with something to eat. So I'll just run through here real quick on how I go about prepping arrows and putting my crest on them. Now I do buy the vinyl stick-on crest. These come from a local shop here in town. They're reasonably inexpensive, and the big thing about them is that if you happen to tear a fletching up, like say shooting through a deer, or however, if you ruin a crest, or if you ruin a fletching, I'm sorry, you can just peel this back off, take you an alcohol wipe like I got here. You can peel that crest right off, wipe your arrow down, and as long as your arrow is good, you know, you put a little bit of tension on them, roll them around. As long as everything's good, the spine's good in them, you can shoot your arrow again. I personally don't shoot carbon bolts or carbon arrows again after I've run through a deer or hit the ground with them. Cheap insurance to me. But name of the game here is clean. Like I said, you just seen me take this alcohol wipe. It's just an isopropyl alcohol wipe. I cleaned off the shaft part here where I'm going to stick my fletching down. Now what I'll do is, this is just a dish towel here is all it is, and you just want some kind of smooth surface. I know people use mouse pads, or you just want something to cushion you a little bit. So if you're using a stick-on type crest here, peel your backing off, which can be a hassle if you don't have fingernails like me. Peel your backing off here. Obviously try not to get your fingers all over it. Try not to get fuzz all under it. So get it laid out here on the paper like you want it. And then what I do is I just get over top of it. Try to just eyeball a nice square line, firmly push down, roll it back around, and then you end up with it started on there. think you can see that. You end up with a nice smooth starting line. I just simply take my finger, run that start line down, maybe run my thumbnail down the back of that line so I know that I got good adhesion there. And then where this dish towel is going to come in, into play, you're going to put pressure down on your arrow shaft and you're going to roll. And what you're doing is you're keeping air bubbles out and wrinkles out, and then boom, there you go. Now you're 100% covered, crested. There is no wrinkles in it, no bubbles in it. And then, like I said, take your thumbnail up that seam. This just barely overlapped, and I think these are I think they're 4 millimeters is the size of these. I believe they're cut to. There is a difference between a carbon compound arrow shaft and a crossbow bolt shaft. You have to get bigger ones for a crossbow bolt shaft. The diameters of them are bigger. So there you go. Now you have a crested crossbow bolt. All right, so what I'm going to use here to put fletchings on it is it's a Boning Pro Class fletching jig. It's just a standard jig. It's set up for 3 or it's got a timing sequence for 3 or 4 fletchings in it. Obviously we're doing 3. Now, one thing I did learn when I started this, like I said, brand new to crossbows, is the half moon nocks that a crossbow shoots, half moon nock, versus a standard compound bow. You have to buy an adapter for this Boning Pro Class jig. All I'm simply doing is I took a nock out of my compound arrow, and you can see on there, I just took a rubber band and I just doubled it up. All you're wanting to do is make tension, and you want to fill that, you're just filling the gap around it and keeping the nock centered in the tube of the bolt. Basically, you're just centering the nock. Boning does make a, I don't know what it is, $8 or $10 adapter that goes in here. I'm not going to buy it. I'm just going to redneck engineer it. There we go. I think I probably should have bought it, but I was in a hurry and I wanted to get it done. So there you go. It's centered up. You can see it. It's centered up. I'm going to put that in. And then I'm going to time my nock. I'm going to time the fletching jig to where my seam starts out on my first fletching. Now I'm not going to fletch right on that seam, but I'm going to fletch right next to it. In my mind, I want that seam to ride in the middle of the rail of my crossbow. I know all crossbows are a little bit different. I have a Barnett Whitetail Hunter step through riser brand. This bolt rides the rail through there, so I want to try to keep that seam right in the middle of it. So I'm going to time that my cock vein, my vein that I'm shooting down inside the rail, I'm going to put the seam right on it. Make a difference? I don't know. That's just my own personal opinion. On these arrows that I shot, or that I'm doing today, that I'm building today, I'm going to use my white. My white fletching is going to be my cock fetching. So there you go. Put him in there. There's timing marks on this part of the jig. I'm gonna put it at the lowest settings where I'm putting this 2-inch blazer. Now for the glue, I do use Boning brand. It is Platinum Fletch-Tite. I'm a big fan of this stuff. Like I said, I've been building these arrows probably going on 10 years now, and my local sporting goods guy, this is what he uses. The guy builds thousands of them a year, so I'm going to listen to him. There again, hopefully you can see that. That is Fletch-Tite Platinum. I think you're supposed to let it set in a jig for clamp time, I'm sorry, 5 minutes, full cure in 48 hours. I'm not going to leave it clamped up for 5 minutes because I'm showing you the standard process, but when I do build them, I do leave them for 5 minutes. The fletching part of this jig has a magnet that sticks to another magnet right here, so it'll keep clamped up on it. But this is the part here that some people don't like, And this is the part that takes a little bit of time because this glue is messy and it's stringy. So all you're wanting to do is just get a little bit of glue. You don't have to go overboard with it, and you'll start a bubble at the end of this nozzle here. Run that bubble on there, put the cap back on it, because it will bleed out. Try to get it in the light here. Just barely amount of glue there. All right, so I know my knock is in time here, right? I'm gonna put this on, and I'm going to back my fletching part of the tool up to it. I'm going to hold the arrow, and I'm just going to barely apply some pressure. You'll see a little bit of squeeze out happening. Now I'm not pressing very hard at all. I'm just barely holding it down there. And like I said, I'm just generally running through the steps right here, so I'm not going to take the full 5 minutes in this clamp because you're not going to watch me 15 minutes do this. Just general idea what it is. Pull it up out, give it an eyeball. I see that the adhesion has worked pretty good. It's going to take my finger, run what little bit of squeeze out that did come off, but put him back in a jig, clock him around. Like I said, that thing is timed. Get my other fletching, put him in the same spot the first one went to. There again, after you do a few errors, you'll figure this out. But I just want to show you how simple this really is, and I don't know, maybe somebody else will get some enjoyment out of it that's never done it before. Like I said, there is a bunch of YouTube videos out there about this. I just figured I'd run real quick and shoot a crested crossbow bolt versus a non-crested traditional 4-inch veined. There we go, push him on. Just trying a little bit of pressure to it, just so you see a little bit of squeeze out. And we'll see. I hope these 2-inch blazers work out well. Like I said, I keep a bunch of them. This jig's made for 2-inch blazers, and hopefully all my arrows can kind of somewhat match, I guess you would say. There you go. Look it over. Good adhesion to it. Not much squeeze out. Wiped it off. Put it back in like I just fletched it. Clock it around again. That's important. It keeps your timing in line. Again, take the next vein, fletching, whatever you want to call it. Put them in, line them up on the timing marks like you started with. There's a bunch of different variations here on this one, and this is a straight fletch jig too. I don't do a helix jig. There again, take your glue, get your little bubble started out on the end of it, run him down. A little bit of this glue goes a long way, and I personally think that this vinyl wrap adheres the glue a tad bit better. So there we go. Put it back on, get the magnet started, butt it up, push the arrow in, a little bit of light hand pressure. Keep everything like you want it. And that's the general fast version of it. Like I said, in theory, if you go by the directions, you should leave it clamped up just like this for 5 minutes. That's what the directions say. That's what I do. I've been running them for 10, 15 years. I've never really had a problem with it. Again, this is just a simple how-to, general, fast process. There you go. Pull the knock that doesn't belong to it back out. There we go. We are crested and we're fletched at this point. And when you go to put the knock insert in, I've been running this Boning Ferro Light Cool Flex. It's a really good insert glue in my opinion. It's a light glue. It's not messy. It's super simple to use. And it's reusable, meaning that you can, a little bit of heat and you can take the insert right back out. I've never really had an instance where I've needed to take an insert back out, but it does come out really easy. Now, normally I would use a propane torch to do this because I don't like a lighter. It does get a tad bit sooty, but for this purpose here, we're just going to take a Bic lighter here, and we're just going to heat this up. Now this boning ferrolite glue, it really is low temp. You don't have to get this thing screaming, scalding hot. It'll do its job just like you need it. This is a brass insert, so I'm going to heat this thing up just till it starts to darken in color a little bit. There again, I'm not going to scorch it. You can see my little block of glue here has already got a a little divot cut out in it where I rub it on there. There again, I don't know if you'll be able to see this on camera, but it coats it really well. I'm gonna take it, start it up in the end of the bolt here, get it down on a piece of solid wood, push it in. I'm gonna wipe the glue off. Yes, it is hot, and the good thing about this stuff is this sets with cold water. So I know it's a coffee creamer bucket, but it's got cold water in it. Boom, put him down in there. Maybe wash it around a tad bit. Get that out of the way so I don't make a mess. I'm gonna wipe the excess water off of it. Give the insert a twist, and there she is. She's as tight as could be. The only thing left now is to push your half moon nock in. Like I said, these arrows here that I'm building, I know I'm going to shoot the white one down, so I'm going to put my half moon nock. I'm going to put it perpendicular to the white one, because that's going to be the one that's down. The string's going to be here, so I want this one down perpendicular. Pushed it in. Boom, there you go. Right there you have a fully built crested 8-inch vinyl crest stick-on, 2-inch blazer vanes, brass insert that comes, like I said, these are gold tip ballistic 425 arrows. They're 8.5 grains per inch. I shoot 100 grain rage out of them. We shot a deer with it this year. Impressive what a crossbow will do. Really impressive. There again, this isn't our primary hunting. We don't primarily hunt the crossbow. It's just something to fill time. But hope you enjoyed that. The next clip here, we're going to take this outside. We're going to shoot it at a crested 2-inch blazer vane arrow versus a 4-inch stiff crossbow vane non-crested arrow. Same exact arrows, same, well, you can't see them. They're both gold tip 425s. Same inserts, same nocks. The only thing different is this one has got an 8-inch crest and 2-inch blazer vanes on it. Stick with me, we're going to take this outside and see if it makes a difference. And as you can see here, let's grab one of these other ones here. This right here, for example, this is for my crossbow. I shoot a Bowtech and a Hoyt. That's what she looks like. This is what my crossbow bolt's going to look like. Trying to keep everything kind of similar. Like I said, I'm a firm believer in a crest just because I can see them better. I don't know. I think I can see colors all right. I just like to be able to see that crest. So stick with me. Thanks for watching. We're going to go outside. All right, so here we go. We're going to do us a little field test here. This is a gold tip 425 ballistic crossbow bolt. It's 8.5 grains per inch. And on this one, I've put a 10-inch vinyl stick-on crest and 3 2-inch blazer vanes. We're going to test this arrow versus a standard non-crested 4-inch, just a standard blazer crossbow vane. They're way stiffer than the 2-inch ones, but stick with me here. We'll shoot the 4-inch one first. Now I'm new to crossbows and I'm really wanting to turkey hunt with it, so that's why we're going to do this little test and show you how to crest and fletch an arrow like I do, just because we enjoy doing it. But we have a Barnett whitetail hunter. It's a step-through riser bow. It's like 150, 170 pound bow. I forget right offhand. Shot the one deer with it there. You can go back and watch that video. I'll try to link it in. But I know that at 20 yards, this bow is dead on at the top crosshair in this scope with this exact non-crested 4-inch veined arrow. Now these are I bought these from my local sporting goods store, J&R Sporting Goods. Sam, thank you, good deal. God does a great job building arrows. I just personally enjoy doing them myself. That's the purpose of this video. So I'll quit my running my mouth here, load this up. I'll shoot the first two watching, and then I'll switch the camera around down there and shoot 2 more. So here we go. Again, it's 20 yards. It's verified 20 yards. Bushnell The Truth rangefinder. It's verified exactly 20 yards from the end of the crossbow to my target. So here we go. 20 yards, non-crested, 4-inch veined arrow out of a crossbow. All right. That one hit where I was aiming. If anybody's not familiar with one of these Barnetts, they automatically go back on safety as soon as you cock them. And here we go. This is the crested 2-inch blazer vein. Again, the seam, we talked about it, we're going to talk about it. The seam on my crest I purposely put down. Now I didn't fletch right on that seam, but I purposely put it down so it would ride in the groove of the crossbow. So there we go. 20 yards, 2-inch blazer veins on a 8-inch crested arrow. I don't know why I jump so much, but I do anyways. All right, let's walk down here and see how we did. Give you a little view of the scenery here. Again, it's just a nice March afternoon in front of the house here. Probably hear the train running in the background. Put this camera right here. Here we go. Here's the target. There you go. Both of them hit the, get them closer. Both of them hit the center dot exactly where they're supposed to. So for the first test, that worked out really, really, really good. So stick with me here. I'll readjust the camera and we'll get another view. All right there, so there you have it. First arrow we shot, regular non-crested 4-inch, what I'm gonna call a stiff vein crossbow vein. That was our first shot. Our second shot was the crested 2-inch blazer veined arrow, and as you can see there, there was no real impact of the arrow flight. Now, I do believe that the crest will degrade over time, because it does, that style crossbow does ride on the rails. So I believe that that'll be an issue. I'm not going to target shoot this thing. I'm going to shoot it 10 times a year. You know, before I take it turkey hunting, I'm going to shoot it maybe 10 times a year before I deer hunt with it. These are just pill and stick, guys. Peel them off. There's no glue left you got to worry about chasing off of them, cleaning off of them. Peel these off. It's like a sticker. Wipe them down with alcohol and you're ready to go again. As long as you don't bust a shaft or hit one or run it through a deer, they're really, I mean, there's no real limit to fixing them. So I hope that answers questions for somebody. I have been looking along to see if I have been looking on YouTube to see about, I've always wondered what's the difference between shooting a 2-inch vane versus a 4-inch vane, simply because I run these 2-inch Blazer vanes with the same crest on my compound hunting bow, which that's 90% of the hunting. But this crossbow thing, it's new for me, it's new for Max. We carried in the boat with us a good bit during the early part of bow season. We do a lot of walleye and perch fishing, so we're in the boat, public hunting where we're at. So you know what, it's really easy to throw that crossbow in the boat. You happen to be set up somewhere jigging for walleye or perch, whatnot. It's pretty easy to shoot a deer from the boat, and plus you get to come home with deer and perch or walleye at the same time. So hope that clears up some questions or concerns that somebody may have. Like I said, this is brand new to me. This is the first real test I've ever done. You know, a 4-inch vane, versus a 2-inch Blazer vane. I really don't see any difference in it, to be honest with you. I'm going to shoot it. You know, I'll continue to shoot it. Prior to, like I said, this is early March, I'll continue to shoot this bow or this crossbow with this cresting and 2-inch Blazers up until mid-April or so, just to make sure, because it does concern me a little bit. But I do like the cresting. I like to be able to see my arrow in the ground. You know, when you're elevated at a tree stand, I do like to see that sticking up. If this arrow happened to turn like that, maybe I can't see colors as good as the next guy, but I do like that 8 or 10-inch cresting on there. I think it helps me out. So hope that helps somebody, and I appreciate you watching. To the Max Outdoors, I'm Matt.